Make sure you've completed the retrieval practice on Microsoft Forms before watching the rest of this video. The link to this is found under the retrieval practice section of this assignment on Microsoft Teams. As you watch this video, make sure you make notes of any new information. This can be in the form of bullet points or a mind map. This lesson looks at the supply and demand of Russia's resources. The learning purpose is to be able to describe what resources are in order to explain the supply and demand of these within Russia. In order to do this, you'll be able to describe the term resource, describe the natural and human resources found in Russia, and explain the reasons for a high demand but a limited supply of resources in Russia. The term resource means something that is used by people. Humans need certain resources to survive, such as food, land, medicine, fuel and water, but there are many other resources available to aid our lives. Russia produces many resources throughout the country. For instance, iron ore is mined throughout Russia. The Kirk's magnetic anomaly in the southwest is believed to contain 16% of all iron ore in the world. The Micron Group, based in Zelenograd, manufactures microelectronics, such as the chip found in most bank cards. Russia has 25% of the world's reserves of timber. Arkhangelsk is a city in the northwestern federal district, and it's a centre for the timber industry within this country. Helicopters and farm machinery are made in factories found in Rostov-on-Don in the south of Russia. Russia's largest natural gas company drills and obtains 17% of the world's natural gas from a region on the coast of northern Siberia. Natural gas can be burnt in power stations to produce electricity for the country. The Rostov-on-Don agricultural region, otherwise known as the farming region, produces 1/3 of Russia's vegetable oil from sunflower. Russia are the second largest producers of weapons, such as guns, after the USA. The company Almaz Ante, based in Moscow, has made $4.3 billion from making air defense missiles. Resources are usually split into natural and human resources. Natural resources are objects that have come from the environment, such as water, fuel, such as wood and coal, and land. Human resources refer to products or services made by the skills, abilities, and knowledge of people. In Russia, we have observed an increasing demand for resources such as food, water, and energy, but also a limited supply. There are 3 reasons why more resources are needed in Russia. Russia's population on average has grown in the last 60 years. More people require more resources. Increased demand for one resource can increase demand for another. For instance, more people need food, which means more water will be needed to grow this food. More people will need more electricity, which means a higher demand for energy resources such as coal and oil. Russia is an emerging developing country, otherwise known as an EDC. This means that it is transitioning towards being an advanced country, which is a rich country with a good standard of living. As Russia develops, people are getting wealthier. Wealthier people have more disposable income, so they want to buy more things. This is called consumption. They buy more food than they need, meaning there is a higher demand for it to be grown. They can afford cars, fridges and TVs, all of which use energy resources to power them. More people can afford luxuries such as flushing toilets, showers and dishwashers. This increases demand on water within the country. Because Russia is getting wealthier, they start to demand more technology. 76.4% of the country's total population are internet users, and 97% of the adults within Russia own a mobile phone. Huge amounts of energy resources are used to produce the electricity needed to make this technology, and in addition to this, energy resources will need to be used to produce electricity, which is needed to power technology such as mobile phones and computers in the home. There are 3 reasons why Russia may not be able to supply enough resources to meet the demand within the country. Russia is still an EDC, meaning that there are areas and people in poverty who do not have a good standard of life. Since 1992, most farms in the countryside cannot afford to purchase new machinery, so they cannot produce as much food as needed by the country. Russia has corrupted most of its water sources and farmland, which are needed to meet the demands for water and food. Only 2% of water passing through treatment plants are treated, meaning that the toxic materials in the waters are pumped into rivers and lakes. It is estimated that 75% of Russia's surface water is now polluted. Since the 1920s, Russia has farmed on a large scale, with some farms the size of Shropshire. This has had an effect on farmland, and some land is infertile as a result, which means it can no longer grow anything. 47% of the farmland in the oblast of Kalmykia is now infertile, so it can't grow anything. Russia's climate is being affected by climate change, and it is causing more droughts, which is a lack of normal rainfall. In 2010 and 2012, drought caused a significant drop in the amount of grain grown in Russia. This led to a decrease in the amount of food made from grain in the country, such as bread, and this also increased the price of bread. The poorest were the hardest hit by this lack of supply. Exit this video now and complete the Word document found under the Output section of this assignment called Student Activity, Supply and Demand of Russia's Resources.